because every day another shoe drops on the Maryland dead. He was a suspect in a human trafficking operation dating back 3 years. And Fox Digital just got their hands on the body cam. But you're seeing it here first. Tennessee Highway Patrol stopped Kilmar for speeding and noticed he had 8 other people in the car. All no luggage. Take a look.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Good, and you?
All right.
Everything good?
You got a bunch of people in here, don't you?
It's 1 for sick. Yes. Go back to work.
Gotcha. Where are you working at?
Where?
Where?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm from to Maryland.
Where do y'all live at?
Where I living? I live in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah, also here.
Whose vehicle is it?
What, excuse me?
Whose car is it?
It's to my boss.
Your boss?
My boss, yeah.
Where's he live? Where's your boss live?
My boss right now is staying in Maryland, but he lives in Texas.
Okay.
In Houston, Texas.
After talking to Kilmar, the officers had no doubt he was trafficking.
You know what you got here, right? He's hauling these people for money. You got an ass hauler is what he's doing, but sometimes they commingle dope. No,
but
there's 8 people in there.
yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to haul these people, probably to Maryland, I would say, if I had my
He
guess.
said they all work together. That's what he's telling me, but he's the only one that knows English.
So let me ask you this: they don't have any luggage in there, right? And if you get them out, they're gonna have a tube of toothpaste and they're gonna have toothbrushes in their pockets. I guarantee it.
He's got $1,400 cash in his pocket in an envelope.
So in the video, you can see one of the cops making a phone call. The body cam audio cuts out for 10 minutes. Sources told us that on that call was Joe Biden's FBI, which advised police not to detain Kilmar at the time. That source also tells us Highway Patrol called Biden's ICE, and they never showed up. Biden's guys said an MS-13 gangster, suspected human smuggler and wife beater, released into the country. God knows what he did and was never caught for before Trump deported him. Primetime will keep digging and keep you posted when we find more.
Meanwhile.
No. Hold on.
We always have to play this game of interrupting people when they're talking.
But you're
saying... What is the
saying...
point of me being on the show if I can never finish my freaking point?
Okay.
This is getting really annoying, Abby.
Hold on.
Everyone else has made their statements. I have yet to say anything.
Hold on a second, okay?
I mean, Jesus.
Hold on a second.
Why are you so angry?
Because I want to say something, and I have a point of view to make here as well.
Hang on just one second. Share, Michael. Let me ask you a question. The question is, has the government presented evidence in court that Abrego-Garcia is a member of MS-13?
And my response...
And the answer is no, that has not happened in court. But it doesn't mean that they have not made those claims publicly. It doesn't mean that those claims are not in police reports.
In 2019...
It doesn't mean that they're not in police reports. They're just not statements that were made in a court case.
In 2019, the immigration judge at the time believed the Prince George's County gang unit and the evidence that they presented before that judge at the time that Mr. Garcia did indeed belong to a gang. This is not my opinion. People can Google this crap. They can Google this. CBS reported on this. If the judge believed it in 2019, is it now all of a sudden not true?
The judge granted him a withholding of removal.
No, I acknowledge that fact.
Which is a different issue. Hold on.
But the point remains that a judge found the evidence to be credible that Mr. Garcia did indeed belong to a gang. So now all of a sudden we're just not going to believe judges?
The judge
we can't have it both ways.
I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but my only point is that the government has not presented beyond the police report. They have not actually presented the evidence to prove that he belonged to this gang.
So police reports are not considered evidence before a court of law? Do judges not consider police reports? What are we saying here?
Sure, Michael, what was the original? I actually want Michael to finish the point.
It absolutely is relevant to the argument from the administration, which is that Mr. Garcia belonged to a gang as one of the reasons of deporting him out of the country. And you guys are saying there's no truth to it. There's no facts to this. That's not true.
The Constitution.
Wow. So we're going to go down the rabbit hole. We're going to go down the rabbit hole, folks, because this happened in Maryland, and there is very good reporting on this man's case. So I encourage you all to go to Fox Baltimore.com, and they have a very good piece of the timeline that occurred for Kilmar Abrego-Garcia. And so I want to just, if we could, go through this because he was right. He was right. Folks, the Democrats are advocating for not just an illegal man, not just an MS-13 member, but also he is a woman beater. He is an assaulter. This man should not be in the United States, but they are going on and on. They've traveled all across the world for this man. I do not understand why it is awful that they're doing this. First, in 2011, court documents indicate he entered the United States illegally. Okay. 2016, he met his girlfriend. 2018, he moved in with her. Her name was I don't know what her name is, but Jennifer Vasquez Sura. He moved in with her in 2018. In August of the same year, her child, she found out she was pregnant. The man who says he was the father of two of her youngest children filed an emergency custody hearing, and he put in the paperwork there that the guy she was dating was a member of MS-13. Right? So they didn't mention his name, but he was the one that was living with her and dating her at the time. So either this woman just dates a whole bunch of people that are in gangs, or he was the one that she was dating. So that was in 2018. Then in 2019, and that was March of 2019, he was arrested in a Hyattsville Home Depot a parking lot with MS-13 gang members. So it says here, again, Fox 45 reporting, he denied any connection to the gang and said he knew nothing about it. Court documents indicate the four men, because he was with three other men, were arrested by police and questioned about gang ties. They noted in the police report that I believe he had MS-13 paraphernalia on. So it's in the Hyattsville City police officer recognized one of the men in the group to be a member of MS-13. So then they called the PG County gang unit was on hand to assist them with these interviews. And they filled out something called a gang field interview sheet, GFIS. All right. And then again, these detectives had reasonable suspicion based upon their training experience that three of the four men, including Kilmar Abrego-Garcia, displayed traits associated with MS-13 gang culture. They were wearing red hats, Chicago Bulls hats, and the hoodie Garcia had on generally represents that a member of good standing in MS-13. I mean, it goes on. I encourage everyone to see this. So one of the officers involved filled out this GFIS form. Let me see here. Then Abrego-Garcia was not charged and was turned over to ICE, where he was detained. He has had his first immigration hearing in April of 2019. Documents from the U.S. Department of Justice show ICE officials objected to Garcia's release, pointing to the GFIS, that's the thing I mentioned earlier, that the police filled out to prove Garcia's gang affiliation, and said he is not claiming fear of returning to his country of El Salvador. Then in June of at that time, Garcia was denied bond, and his attorneys appealed the decision, claiming there was no reliable evidence in the record of MS-13 affiliation. Then in June 2019, he married this girlfriend while he was in jail. And she gave birth to their child. An immigration judge granted a withholding of removal for Garcia and was released with a work permit. So I don't even understand this. Michelle, I don't know if you can make anything about this. if this man is found to be illegal, which he was, why are they giving him a work permit? I don't understand that.
In the interim, in their waiting game. See, this is Prince George's County,
Right.
and that's where I'm like sitting in my office right here. It's Prince George's County. It's one of my counties, and so there are a lot of people here with work permits. We are soft on crime. This is 2019. This is just after COVID, and of course during that transition when the Biden administration took over in 2020. What we've seen with a lot of the illegal immigrants is they really just got lucky.
So I don't understand, and maybe somebody in the chat, if you came here illegally, why would they give you a work permit? I mean, to me, that would be
now. Is the wife? I did not look up. Is she a citizen?
She may be. I believe she is.
Because they were married. If they're married and she just had a child, it could be related to that he was allowed a work permit while they literally wait. And I've had a lot of people I've worked with where they were here, they were on work permit, their permit expired, and because he didn't get deportation at the time, they could have still allowed him to work to support the child. You would have to open up those cases, but a lot of
because I don't understand. I thought
have work permits.
I know, like, if you come in on a work permit, I get that. But I thought that if you were found to have entered the country illegally, you're barred from staying here. You're barred from getting any work permit.
That actually isn't the case. And I know a lot of people that came here illegally, and they have asked, or they came here as children. Their argument is that I came here as a child. So I
get that. I get that.
So it'd be interesting to see his case, but you can come here and file for a temporary work permit, and you can put down your reasoning. And really, it's a wait for your court case. Well, just like we let in the Biden administration, you know how they processed people? You can come illegally, be found, and then they process you. And this process could take 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. It can take years before they officially process you and decide if you qualify to then work towards becoming a citizen. And in the meantime, they will grant you a work permit. Not only that, a license. There are people that are in some states who need a driver's license.
That's terrible. So the man has been arrested. He's been around gang members. He's doing all kinds of stuff. He came here illegally, and then they turn around and give him a work permit. I don't get it. That's terrible. That's terrible. When there are many people who are trying to do it the right way, who are putting in their paperwork, waiting and waiting, paying all this money just to come here legally. And he came illegally by crossing the border illegally, and they're going to just give him a work permit. That's terrible. That's terrible. What?
Thousands, probably more in the millions right now have work permits. Even though they came here illegally, millions. And then it's sorting through. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. And that's why the Dems and far liberals are able to argue that, like, hey, we have a lot of people here working the fields and working with permits, so they're not causing any harm. Therefore, let everybody do the same thing. Let's ignore all the criminals. And what I think about this case is interesting. I don't think they would care. They are literally saying, well, he didn't have his DNA tested. I'm like, what other proof do you need besides the MS-13, tattoos everywhere, being with the gangs, being a part of human smuggling? It doesn't matter what he does. Apparently, they need him to be this good guy, despite that his wife says he's a bad guy. The children's other father said he's everybody knows he's a bad guy, except for the Democrats who say, show me the proof again, like through his DNA. What other proof did they have to catch him in the act themselves? Forget the fact that a judge said it, the immigration court said it, ICE said it, everybody said it. Why are they defending a criminal? Why doesn't the wife, and I know, the wife has some issues. There's a lot of money involved in that now with that GoFundMe page. And when she came out, and I wouldn't doubt if she's being threatened. I wouldn't doubt if this is MS-13, if they come after her and say something or don't do what you're supposed to do to get him back. So we don't know her case fully either. It's just
and like you mentioned, in 2021, she filed a temporary protective order against him, claimed he punched her, he scratched her, he ripped her shorts and shirt, hit her, gave her a purple eye, and all kinds of stuff. And then she retracted it, retracted everything. But she was claiming he did all these things to her. And then in 2022, new documents released by the Department of Homeland Security shed light on a traffic stop in Tennessee. Apparently, he was pulled over by Highway Patrol for failing to maintain his lane. When they pulled him over, he had a gang of people in the car, 8 other people. And the officer, and so he told the officer he had been driving 3 days for 3 days from coming from Houston to Temple Hills, Maryland, to bring in people to perform construction work. But there was no luggage in the vehicle, according to the DHS, leading the encountering officer to suspect this was human trafficking. Wow. Yep. So here we got it. I mean, the list just gets longer and longer. The guy's here illegally. He beats up his wife. He's an MS-13 gang member. And now he's being suspected of human trafficking.
KJ, don't worry about it. He's the Maryland dad. That's all we need to know, folks. He's the Maryland dad, stand-up guy. That's what's disgusting, that the media bought into this, that senators, our senator in Maryland bought into this, and they're still going overseas. How sick is that? That is your standard? Folks, that is the far left Democrat standard, is to go after, and they will defend it. And what's sad is that even though some of them are backtracking, they're still defending saving all of the others. I'm like, wait a second. When does this stop? You are actually saying you're going to fight for violent criminals, rapists, murderers to stay here over American citizens.
It's crazy. It is crazy. And then lastly, here in 2025, he was pulled over by ICE, and he was told by ICE that his immigration status had changed per court documents, and was detained. And so when he told, the last time his wife had heard from her husband was on March 15th. This was this 2025, this year, when he told her he was being transferred around to various ICE detention facilities. He later confirmed to be in the Salvadorian Supermax prison known as CCOT. So Ali says, I saw the police cam footage and the sound went out when they got a call from FBI and ICE never showed up. Biden is a criminal. Yeah. I don't know. I know one thing. I know our Democrat Congress people shouldn't be using our taxpayer money to travel over here for this guy. I do know that.